hello my friend. I don't know if you missed me, but I definitely missed you. It was so much fun to film a lot of videos for Vlogmas, but after that I ended up like in a little hole, especially last week. Last week something happened in my private life that I didn't want to face in a way, and I definitely ended up just eating and watching for like 4 days in a row, where I don't really remember what I did except for watching a particular series. It's the Norwegian version of Taskmaster, which was really fun to watch. But I didn't do anything. Like, I was just coming home, watching that the whole day, eating something that was easy to get and not to prepare anything, and then I would go to bed and sleep, and next day and work and over again. And first at the weekend I felt like I woke up. I saw that something had happened, but it was just like being in a fog. I couldn't really say what had happened, and I realized it had something to do with negative feeling that I didn't want to feel. And it made me realize that I do that very often in a lot of different areas of my life. So I decided to go way more into researching what is happening and what you can do about that. So I hope you will enjoy this video about buffering, or actually to stop buffering, and let's go. So today I was just researching a lot about buffering and urges and self-sabotage and all things that I feel like are connected to my overeating. So first, I listened to a podcast that I really enjoy. It's the Life Coach School podcast by Brooke Castillo, and the topic was buffering, or how to stop buffering. She defines buffering as an action where you put something in between you and your feelings. That can be by overeating, over drinking, over watching, over cleaning, which never happened to me. But so it's usually something you do way more than you feel is okay. So usually it either gives you a negative consequence, or it helps you avoiding negative emotions. In any case, if you feel that something you do regularly gives you negative consequences, then it's most certainly that you're buffering. She also says that in our daily life, we are bombarded by possibilities to get pleasure, and actually very easily get pleasure by, like, on our phones, on our laptops, a lot of food, alcohol. Every notification you're reacting to, you will get you a little dopamine hit, and it strengthens your connection to do this particular behavior. So she says we are buffering by overeating, over drinking, overworking, and all the others over things you can do, instead of being present with our feelings. And these dopamine hits trick our brain into thinking that this is the most important thing. We keep going although we feel it's not the right thing, and then you still go and continue because you want to have this dopamine hit. And we probably see it first as a problem when we really feel the negative consequences of it. And we have to ask ourselves, when are you willing to give up false pleasure? Because that's what she calls a false pleasure. These small, short pleasure to not feel mostly negative feelings. And she also questions if seeking out these pleasures really help us to feel better. So she says, for example, we eat when we have a negative emotion, but does it actually make you happier? Or do we put ourselves into a space that makes us less aware? And this sounds very much like a vicious cycle. So you feel bad, so you're eating, and then you feel bad about that you ate, so you eat even more. She also says that buffers are just a temporary release from this emotion, and we'll get it even more back like a boomerang. And when we are in this pleasure mode, we're just like take. We're not able to give because we just want to cover our negative emotions with something. We buffer. I'm feeling I'm an expert in buffering because I have done it since I was actually a little child. I have been daydreaming quite a lot and could see that these had negative consequences. I use daydreaming often in situations where I can't leave, like a boring meeting, or I'm at a party and I feel like I can't go yet, but I actually don't feel well in there, or I actually am just tired and want to go home. I use eating in the evening, and I haven't really found out what causes it, but I could think of that it might be just being alone. Now living alone, I have like nobody to eat with, so maybe it's just that, I don't know. Or at work, that I'm procrastinating on difficult tasks, so I'm just rather do some short emails that you can answer within 2 minutes, and then I feel accomplished, but then I'm kind of pushing away the really difficult task, or tasks that I know I don't even know how to start, so I'm just saying, oh, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, and then a month later, oh, you still have to do that, and it feels worse and worse. So I feel like I'm buffering in a lot of areas, the same as like not keeping everything clean and tidy, and I feel now in these times it is even easier to get this false pleasure. You can just watch Netflix or YouTube, and you have less true pleasures, like just meeting friends is so difficult. So I decided that I want to work on not buffering, and so this week I tried not to buffer at work when it comes to procrastination. So I decided to change the order of my emails, and I wasn't allowed to go through the next email before I hadn't done something with the email that came in before. And all my to-dos, I would write myself an email, so they would end like completely at the end of the email box. I could put emails in another file saying I'm gonna do it tomorrow when it was something I couldn't do by myself, where I needed, for example, help from a colleague who wasn't there that day. Or I have some projects where I have to read through quite a lot of information, but it's not that it has to be done within a week. So I decided, okay, I'll work on it a little bit every day, and then I put it in the tomorrow file, and then I put it out next day, and then I have to deal with it again until it's done. And I see already a difference. I feel this resistance of, you just want to do something else. I just want to go for a walk, or I want to go and eat something, instead of just sitting with this feeling and sitting there and just doing this email even though I don't want to do it. But the more I did it this week, the better it actually got. So Brooke Castillo talks about that you just have to feel your feelings, which I feel is easier at work than at home, because now I had this week where I just kind of fog eating, where I don't even remember what I did for like almost a week. I wasn't binging, but I was still overeating and like not being cautious about what I was eating at all. But I feel like I need more help when it comes to the overeating part. So I found a video on YouTube by a YouTuber called Kari Dahlgren, which is actually the Norwegian pronunciation of it, but she's actually American, but she has a very Norwegian name. She talks about the stop, drop, and feel method. So her method is, when you start binging, you stop, you drop into your body, and you feel what's happening. To make it a little bit easier to actually stop, you can tell yourself that you can go back to your binge afterwards. But the idea is to help to kind of get a little bit space and feel what's happening. Why am I actually eating? What do I want to cover up? Or where do I seek false pleasure of? What kind of feeling is actually there? So these are the things I will work on. I will actually put the video and the podcast in the description down below, so you can check it out yourself. And there's of course way more I want to talk about, like self-sabotage and urges, but I think I'll just take that for the next video. And we start just with that. So if you're buffering in certain areas in your life, maybe this is something you could try. And I will let you know how it goes, and we see each other next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye.